Lesson 3. Launching and boarding. The Titanic was launched on May 31st, 1911, but she was only 75% complete. The launch attracted much attention and it was attended by thousands of spectators, workers, dignitaries and members of the public. It was marked with speeches and celebrations, fueled by an air of excitement. During the launch ceremony, the Titanic was christened with a bottle of champagne against her hull, as a symbol of good luck and to officially name her. She was christened by Lady Anne Pirrie, the wife of Sir William Pirrie, who was the chairman of Harland and Wolff. Launching a ship of the Titanic's size and weight required careful planning and execution. The shipway was first greased with a mixture of tallow and soap to reduce friction. She was gradually moved down the slipway using hydraulic ramps and winches. As the Titanic slid into the water, it created a large wave and generated a tremendous amount of noise and excitement from the onlookers. After the launch, the Titanic entered her fitting out phase, which took several months, preparing her for her maiden voyage. Passengers boarding. The Titanic's maiden voyage began at Belfast, and she visited 2 ports from which she collected passengers, before embarking on her ill-fated journey across the Atlantic. First, she stopped at Southampton in England. Southampton was a major port for transatlantic travel in the early 20th century. Here the majority of the passengers boarded, including both first and third class passengers. The Titanic then sailed to Cherbourg in France, where she picked up additional passengers who were mostly first and second class. The Titanic had been scheduled to make a third stop at Queenstown in Ireland, but due to a late departure from Southampton and rough weather conditions, this stop was cancelled, and the Titanic set sail for her final destination, New York City. The boarding process. The process of boarding the Titanic varied depending on the class of the passenger. Not every passenger was treated equally. First class. First class passengers were typically wealthy individuals, dignitaries and celebrities. They were given priority boarding and escorted onto the ship in style. These passengers arrived at the port either in private cars or on luxurious trains arranged by the White Star Line. On reaching the ship, they would be greeted by the White Star Line staff and guided to the first class entrance. Their baggage was handled by porters and transferred to the ship's storage areas. The first class passengers themselves were escorted to their luxurious cabins and given assistance in settling in. Second class passengers. Second class passengers were typically middle class individuals and their families who were seeking a more affordable but also comfortable option for transatlantic travel. They would arrive at the port and make their way to the second class boarding area. Porters would help second class passengers with their luggage, and on boarding the ship they would be directed to their cabins. Third class passengers. Third class passengers, also referred to as steerage passengers, were primarily immigrants and those seeking a new life in America. On arriving at port, third class passengers underwent a more extensive process of immigration checks and inspections. They also had to undergo medical examinations such as checking for lice, and their luggage was inspected and tagged. Once cleared, they had to board the ship through a separate entrance designated for third class. The third class cabins were located in the lower decks of the ship, and they had to find their own way to their cabins. The boarding process for the Titanic's passengers was a mix of anticipation and excitement on beginning their journey across the world. Ticket prices. Now, you may wonder at the difference in the facilities and treatment given to the different classes. A lot of this is due to the differences in the prices paid by the different passengers. First class tickets range from £30 to £870, which in today's money would be £3,400 to £98,000. The price depended on the type of cabin or suite and additional services requested. The most luxurious suites, such as the parlour suite, offered spacious accommodation, private promenades and exclusive access to certain areas of the ship. The second class tickets range from £12 to £60, or in today's money, £1,360 to £6,800. The third class tickets range from £3 to £8, or in today's money, £340 to £900. The Titanic set sail from Southampton on April 10th, 1912 at 12 p.m. It was due to arrive at New York City on April 17th, 1912. Unfortunately, she would never arrive.